Hi, I'm Nick and this is the TBT channel. Welcome to today's video. Now, this is part 2 of the Quarterbore experiment, the 25 caliber. Last week, we talked about 25, different uses of it, yada, yada, yada. And I said, I've got a new gun on the way, specifically for using with thermal in the garden. The thermal unit I'm going to be using is my 1-leaf Mars, which has got the laser range finding and all the fancy pants stuff. And we've got a vol problem, so I think a 25 cal would be perfect for that. And the heavier bullet, the more pronounced trajectory, will work well, I'm hoping, with the ballistics calculator inside the equipment. So I said, guess what I'm going to get? And loads of you took a guess. None of you got it right, but some of you were exceedingly close. And it's arrived. My wife's out. She still doesn't know. She may be back during this video, but she can't beat me on camera, so it'll all be okay. That reminds me, I've actually got dinner on, so it'll smell lovely when she walks in through the door. I will be doing cookery lessons specifically for blokes who need extra brownie points. Simple things that people will think you spent ages on. That's another matter. So, what gun did I get? Now, first of all, oh, let me just pick the box up. It's distressingly heavy. First of all, I'm going to say it's not a Springer. I know, Springers are the best, blah, 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 but for a number of reasons, this isn't a Springer. First of all, it's going to be a high power 25 caliber, and I'm going to be using it on my own expensive thermal gear. I don't want to break it with the recoil from a Springer. If you don't know why recoil from a Springer is worse than a 50 cal, I will probably, if I haven't already done a video on that, I will do. Now, there's rain in the air. I'm hoping it stays off because I want to get this done before she gets home. So let's open it up. So first clue, it's not a Springer. Second clue, I bought it from Ballistas, which I've used before on a number of occasions. They're always very good. I don't know if they post to the UK, not anymore. They certainly used to. Let me just get all the wrapping off of it first. It is exceedingly, as you will see, exceedingly well taped up and wrapped. Pop that there. Some would say too well. I wouldn't. I wanted it to get here in one piece, and it has. This shoulder's not an awful lot of use. I've had physio this morning, so it's working less than usual. The physio's going well, don't get me wrong, but I'm on the exercise muscle building part of it now, so it does hurt. Still, only another few months of it, hopefully. So that's that bit out the way. I've now got a load of cardboard. Let's find out where the cardboard is taped and remove that. Any guesses yet? Oh, it says Chiappa there. Chiappa. I do have Chiappas, the little badgers, the little folding rimfire rifles. They're good, they're cheap. Cheap and good. It is possible. A few people have said Viroc. Some people, bless you, said FX. I've had plenty of FXs. And someone said Taipan. The thing is, if you buy in an expensive PCP, you already have expectations of how it's going to perform. And in my mind, if you buy a non-expensive PCP, that means there's a good chance you'll get something that's better than you were expecting. And I like that. I like the idea of something that's better than you expected it to be. So we're more along those lines. And there is an awful lot of Chiappa about this. Well, about the packaging. In fact, I don't know why I'm trying to build up the tension. I'm probably going to put what gun it was in the description. Why wouldn't I? Right, now we're into the meat of it. A gun box. There's nothing written on it, nothing to give it away. Let's open one end. Let's open this end. Oh no, it does say there 25 cal, 6.35 millimeter. That's good. Oh, we have a hard plastic case. Ringing any bells yet? Reximex. Now, some people say, oh, it's a cop out, you've already bought one of them. I bought a Reximex Meta Plus in 2.2 in April. It was 500 quid, 600 euros, 500 quid. And after a bit of work, it's a fabulous rifle. It really is. And I've tested it against other makes of PCP, and it is equally or better in accuracy than them. It is stacked with features on things you get for an awful lot more money. So when I started looking for a 25 cal, I started looking, and then I saw Reximex and I thought, oh. Now, a lot of people said, oh, it'll be a Reximex Lyra, and I did look at the Lyra, and that was a good idea. But this one I'd not heard of before, and I think it may be a new model. And it is wrapped. Another thing, a fellow I know called Sean, just starting out in shooting. I'm giving him some help finding his first gun and getting his license and things like that over here because he wants to get into rimfire. He sent me a text the other day asking if I had any or knew of any telescopic air rifles for sale. That's a weird thing to ask for. I said, but funnily enough, I've got one on the way, and here it is. This is the Reximex Force 1, which is telescopic. And I have to say, it feels every bit as nice as the Meta did, but an awful lot lighter. Oh ho ho ho. Now, I know nothing, very little, very close to nothing about this rifle, except that it's not regulated. That's going to do my head in, I'm not going to lie, but it's in 25 caliber, it's a magazine feed, it has absolutely zero air in it at the moment. The gauge is on this side. I am going to have to, if I keep this, I am going to have to regulate it. That's just the way it is. So we've got our gun. Let's see what else I've got in the box, because the rain is starting. I have 2 magazines, 25 caliber, obviously. I have a little box of O-rings and the safety seal. I have some instructions, and I have the BSP adapter to pump it up, which I will do very shortly. These would all have been in this box, but this box has come out open. The only thing that's happened during transit is that box has come open at one end and those parts have come out. But that's no biggie. The box itself, the hard case, it is lovely to get a hard case with a rifle, especially one that's, did I tell you how much this was? 329 euros delivered. What's that, 280 quid? 280 pounds delivered or thereabouts. And it came with a hard case. But like the other Reximex I have, once I put any kind of optic on the top of this, the hard case is just so much plastic because it will never fit back in it. I put my last one on my quad. This one appears to be a little bigger. I may replace that one with this one. We shall see. That's a job for another day. So what have we got here, apart from raindrops keep falling on my gun? The barrel. I didn't know if it was shrouded. It is shrouded because it's coming off. So let's just see what bits unscrew on this. Oh, that's interesting, look. I've read this a couple of times. They're saying that the scope rail is suitable for 11 and 22 millimeter, and I thought, well, how's that possible? Like that. I'll show you a close-up of that in a little bit. I'm not going to do many close-ups now because of the inclement weather. Let's see how this shroud comes off. If this shroud comes off. I don't want to force things, but it's turning freely and then stopping. Which is unusual. There we go. Come on, you know you want to do it. There we are. Now the shroud was the big issue I had with the Meta Plus, in that it wasn't concentric and it was causing the pellets to clip, and I'm happy about that. When taking the shroud off, I've exposed a 1/2 inch UNF there, which means that's my safety valve there. If you ever overpressure, this is rated for 200 bar, if you were to overpressure it, there's a small diaphragm inside of there, there's spares in the box there, that will rupture before anything else does, making it safe, but that is where it is should you ever need to replace it. So I've managed to expose the bare barrel, which is fully floating and appears to be of a decent size. That's good. Now what I'm going to do is pump this up, and then we're going to see what the power is, because I don't know. Oh, it appears to have a small amount of baffled shroud. I don't think that's going to do an awful lot. There's not much spare space at all in there for the air. The way a moderator works is the exhaust gases behind the pellet are allowed to distribute, and then after distributing, oh, see, that whole thing comes off. That's good. After distributing, they expand within the moderator and or shroud. The more space, the more volume you've got inside of it, the more baffles you have, the more chance it has of working. I don't think this is going to do an awful lot. And what's more distressing, I don't think there's an awful lot of clearance to put a moderator directly onto that. So let's hope that this shroud is in alignment, but the fact that that is screwing directly onto it is a good sign. Let's get some air in it first. So what have we discovered since last we spoke? First of all, this part here is an alloy cover to go over the filling port. Nothing in the instructions whatsoever about how to take it off or where you're supposed to fill it. It took me a little bit of process of elimination. I've got a how to load and fill up for the Force 2, which is the one with the buddy bottle, but not for this one. But if I remember rightly, the instructions on the Meta Plus were pretty pants as well. So that's where you fill it up from. Our gauge is underneath at the back there. Let's just turn it over. I've done a couple of dry fires before filling it, and just like the Meta Plus, the trigger's bloody awful. But unlike the Meta Plus, I could adjust it. All I did was adjust the trigger blade out until it's on a nice crisp single stage. I think it's only a true single stage anyway, with inbuilt creep before it to make it feel like a 2. So there you go, we're ready to pump it up. I've got my GX CS3 pump. I'm going to set it to 200 bar there, and we'll check it against the one on that. Shut my bleed valve. I'm going to plug in now, and we will time it and see how long it takes to fill up. The time is currently 13:20, so we'll see how long for a fill on 310cc. One problem with shipping guns empty is they're a lot harder to fill. This one was leaking from the firing port, from the valve. Because I had the valve, the trigger in the fired position, the air was coming straight down the barrel. So I had to cock the gun, and then once it got over 50 bar, it stopped leaking from there. So that's delayed it by a few minutes while I tracked out why it wasn't filling, but we're cracking on. There we go, 12 minutes to fill it. Turn everything off first. 12 minutes to fill it from empty on the GX pump, including the first couple of minutes, me not noticing it wasn't filling and then realising that air was coming out the end of the barrel. So as I said, I don't know if you could hear me over my talking over the pump, but what I had to do was bring the cocking lever back. The action is still actually cocked now. So you cock the action, so you're taking the hammer off the valve, close it again, it's ready to go. Does obviously mean the gun is in a state ready to put my teeth in to fire. Be aware of that, but it is now full. So here we are, an hour after delivery. I've filled the gun up, discovered an empty gun, arriving empty. Make sure the gun's cocked when you start to fill it, otherwise the hammer spring will be pushing open the valve, the air comes out the barrel, top tip. I found out the trigger, the trigger on the Meta Plus when I got that wasn't good. This one wasn't good. I've given it a couple of adjustments there. I've taken it, I don't know if it was supposed to be a 2-stage trigger, but it's now a crisp 1-stage, and I will take a crisp 1-stage over a crappy 2-stage any day. It is telescopic, which means you can get the length of pull right for your scope wherever it is, because I am going to be mounting a thermal unit, the 1-leaf thermal unit on this, which sticks back. You want close eye relief, so I'm going to be able to get it right. But with my little stumpy arms, I'm going to have it up close anyway. Another thing I found, which I really do like, is the comb here is adjustable as well. Let me just unwind it enough. There we go, so that I can get the cheek weld right for into the optic, and that's going to be a major benefit for the kind of optics that I'm going to be fitting onto this gun, and that's what I'm going to be doing. I have also, oh, and that is an alloy piece at the front there that pulls off. It's longer than one of my worst videos. That's how long it is, but it doesn't really matter because this is going to be a bench. It's going to be on it's going to be on a bipod, and it is going to be for bench shot precision, very small vermin control. But that is to come. I have run it over the chrono with my 3 preferred pellets. Now these are, I've got this big tub of 25 cal pellets here. We will be testing them all, but these are my 3 preferred ones. The JSB King Exacts, Field Target Trophies and Bisley Pest Controls, because they're all still available. I can buy them easily. They're not particularly expensive, and they're differing weights. They are differing weights. They're light, medium, well, light, heavy and heavier, I think. But as it stands, the way it was delivered to me, it is doing between 29 and 32 foot-pounds, depending on the pellet. I was saying I would like the Bisley Pest Control to be the most accurate. But do you know what? These Field Target Trophies at 20 grains, they're flying out 850 feet a second, and that ain't bad. And quiet, I've only put the SAC mod on the front of this, but quiet, oh my days. I was worried I'm going to get some clippage with that moderator. I was worried I was going to get some clippage with that moderator, because it's only got a 7mm bore on the exit, and these are 6.35 pellets. But boy was it quiet. If it proves they're not clipping, I'm going to be very happy with that. If they are, I'm just going to take it out to 7.2mm on the lathe. That's not a problem. I have the equipment to do that. But for £280 or €329 delivered to my door, I think this is a cracking bargain so far. And next, we're going to put an optic on it, and we're going to start testing for accuracy. But that's another video. Like, subscribe, hit notifications. Thank you so much for watching this. Follow this one. It could be good. I'll speak to you next time. Goodbye.